right out of spawn at the beginning, as like before the doors even open, you can come up here and see the high ground, see what they're setting up, or scouting like what characters they have at the beginning. When you're rolling out, you have 3 ways: left, middle, right. When you come left, you grapple here, you have to unball to get through this hole properly, then you can reball, and then hit this corner jump. Now on their high ground. If someone's up here, it's free kill, but for the most part, you just boop their front line off the high ground, boop them, slam them in, and should be a pretty easy follow-up. You can also just come around to point here and force point. It'll force their attention to look at you so that the choke is more free for your team. Or if like someone comes after you and they're split, you can collapse on them. Or with the distraction, once they push out to point, you can just go on the front line with your team pushing in. Another one is going right down mid. You can grapple right under the bridge, and it's like a swing around. It's a swing around to boop them off high ground. Same thing as the other one, just it's quicker, but it's more easy for them to spot you and stun you out of it. And then the last one just become top right, all the way up. If a Ana or BAP or some like sniper, anyone that's like a long range, could play back here, then you just have a pressure them or a free kill by slamming them, booping them out of their corner, killing them, and then from here you can grapple this and go on top of them. You're also the best one when you're fighting point to contest the high ground, so if someone rotates up there late, you're the first one to have to swing around and go on them, because if not, they're going to stay there for a while. Sometimes grappling those buildings up is a little awkward, so you can grapple at the middle of the point and a wall jump off of it, and it gets you high ground the same way, more direct, less time. Now once you cap this point, you want to go to spawn and change heroes. You can go Zarya, Sigma, Rein, Orisa, any other tank that helps out your other tank, because ball on this point is trash on second. Okay, obviously I'm joking, I'm still going to show you how to do ball on this point, but just know it's very difficult. There's no flank routes. The point is the back of the map, so there's no way to get behind them and displace them. You can come straight down right side and then under the bridge, and then go in from here, either go on the front line, displace them, or boop them, or you can swing onto the supports that play back right. But it's generally pretty hard to get in without getting noticed. If your team goes right, you go left. And now when they're distracted, you go behind them, boop them in. If your team's going left, you go right. And as they're watching your team on the left side, you get behind them, you can go on the supports playing back here, or just put the front line in. Just be careful, because back here Ana always plays, so she's could sleep you. Brig could bash, McCree could flashbang. There's lots of stuns that are common to play here. This whole point also has diagonal walls, so it's very easy to wall jump around. So you rarely ever have to grapple up to slam. If you are just decent, not even good, just decent with wall jumping, it's fairly easy to get on these diagonal walls. And then you can save a grapple to just boop people out. And then if you keep getting stunned, every time you go in on the flank, they just keep sleeping, bashing, stunning you and you dying. It's very common. Sometimes you just have to go right in. These pillars are pretty easy to grapple right into them and just slam right on them, either left side or right side. You just need your team to be close to go in with you. Now defending first is probably even worse than attacking second, honestly, because they're gonna come right side. You don't want to go in that room, because if you go in that room, you're gonna get stunned and body blocked, and there's no way. It's very difficult to get out of that room, and then they just walk to you, and you have no way of slowing them down or stopping them, because you're not really a long range poke, or you just don't have anything to slow them down. The best thing you can do is stop them from getting in the room in the first place. So out of spawn, you can come here, you can scout them, and then just hide behind. Hopefully they don't turn around. If they do, then you might be in a bad situation, but from here you can boop them in before they get through the doorway and slam them, and your team right on high ground has a good crossfire, and hopefully you can kill them or get a pick before they get through. If you've done that once and they scouted it out, you might not want to do that ever again. You can hide right here and do the same thing, but instead of booping them in, you're booping them out, but it still slows them down. Now here it's probably worse for you to slam in, because now you're slamming out in their choke on their side. So slamming on their side of the choke, you'll have less healing, less peel potential, and less follow-up. A safer way of doing the same thing would be just to boop them out, and then come to high ground, and stop the Ashe, Hanzo, Widow, Pharah, Echo, Mercy. Sometimes you're desperate and do slam in, just don't slam in too deep, unless your team is following up with you. You need to have some sort of advantage, knowing their cooldowns is out, or having like big shields, or else you're gonna get stun trapped. When they're coming through, you can slam this choke. You can hide on these statues, you probably have to unball to stay there, but you can slam this choke. They're not gonna see you as they're walking out. You'd also rotate onto this wall and stand on it and pressure them from behind. or silently drop behind them, and then boop them and slam right as your exit, so you can actually get out really quickly. You can hide in this tree before the fight starts. You can get up here and hide. If you stay in ball, you have to keep holding your forward movement to stay in the corner, but it's very unlikely they'll see you or know you're there. It's pretty sneaky and hidden. And then once they all get through, you can boop them through into your team and slam. Just be careful, tight room. Again, once you're fighting on point, you have, the same boot, you can just regular jump off the middle part to slam, spin to win, and then this is just like a standard messy fight. When this mid fight's taking place, you're the first one to leave point and pressure this high ground. Any sort of mid to long range people will rotate high ground instead of fighting on point. You're the first one to leave point to go pressure them and make sure they're not free fighting on your team. Same with the Widowmaker, that late rotates all the way up to the far bridge. You might have to take a little hike to do it, but you need to get on her unless you have a Widowmaker yourself to kill her. There's also a tightrope you can do from these two high grounds. Defending second is honestly better than defending first, but it's temple and it's still pretty bad. Holding top left is a pretty good spot. You can slam them as they're coming through. You just need follow up and your team to be holding closer or have good long range damage. If they're coming left and someone's rotating to the high ground, you can quickly boop them into your team, and that person is now split from their entire team and hopefully is a free kill. Or if they're just rotating through right side to come mid, you can drop behind them, boop, slam. If they're going right side and you only see like 4 or 5 of them, you can stay on this left top and go for that DPS, that late road that is like sneaking behind. A Widow or a Hanzo going far high mid, you can go on them. Or the soldier McCree that's trying to sneak right side, you can go on them. If you see all 6 of them there, then you can quickly rotate and slam them. You can also hold mid tower and shoot them as they come down mid. If they come right, you can boop them through. If they go left, you can quickly rotate. So this one's not bad either. There's also this spot that you can hold way up here. I wouldn't say do this all the time, but if you have a very aggressive team, in lower ranks this is probably better. You can hold up here, either just boop them straight in, or just go on the backline supports that are late, but you're way away from your team. Other than that though, once they get to point, you don't really have anything aside from the wall jumps and like regular old grapples, so you gotta hold them close before they get to you. And then the mid fight's happening on point, you're the first one to leave, as long as you're not the only one. That's the stall. You should be the one to leave and go kill the high ground person so they don't farm your team.